Okay, hi guys. So I am not coming to you with a very happy video today. I really wasn't sure whether I would do this or not because I just didn't want to. This is really annoying, the light and the reflection in the glasses, but I don't see anything without my glasses. Okay, we'll try. Because it feels very whiny and very negative and depressing and vulnerable to make this video, but truthfully I felt so alone and isolated and misunderstood those past weeks or this past month even with how I feel, that I kind of wanted to make a video because I'm thinking honestly if anyone else feels that way or feels similarly or has someone in their family or friends circle or wherever who feels that way too, and if by watching this video you either feel less lonely, less isolated, you feel like you can relate, or you feel like you can perhaps understand better someone else that is in the situation that's like mine, I feel like this could be really useful. And I'm also secretly, I suppose, well, not so secretly, but I'm also hoping that maybe talking about it, perhaps receiving some of your comments, guys, with similar stories or encouragements or tips and tricks or, you know, whatever, maybe, and also just the fact of, you know, telling it and just putting it out there. I'm hoping that maybe it's gonna make it easier. So it's nothing too bad, it's nothing too serious, it's just that ever since summer has arrived, or rather should I say ever since we've had those insanely hot days in Paris, those very hot, heavy, suffocating days that seem to never end because the sun rises up so early and goes down so late, I've been feeling absolutely shitty. So it's not the first time, it's actually I think the third year where I feel extremely bad and very depressed during summer, and I'm using those words very wisely. I do feel very depressed. It is not like my usual self, which is kind of depressed, kind of sad, but kind of keeps things together, makes things work, and is able to basically just hold my things together, my shit together. Now I just really cannot. Maybe if you're following me on Instagram, or even if you're following me on there, just it might be misleading because I only post on Instagram. I mean, I only posted when I was in Budapest, and Budapest was really less hot, less suffocating. My apartment, I mean the Airbnb I was renting was really not as sunny and bright and hot as my apartment. And Budapest is a city I love. It's a big, vast city with a lot of space, a lot of greens. It just feels very different. And I mean, I could also talk about it, but whenever I'm traveling, my mental health is significantly better. So that's also something to take in consideration. So if you've been following me on here, if you've been following me on Instagram, you might be thinking, oh, she's having a great time. Truth is, I'm having such a bad time. Just today I cried for about 40 minutes and I couldn't stop crying. I was bawling my eyes out. It was just so painful. I couldn't even breathe at some point. And I would have been really... I didn't even really know why I was crying. I mean, of course I know, and I'm gonna talk about some of those things in this video, but it was also just a general feeling of despair. And yeah, as I said, it's the third year where I am really struggling with summer. I am struggling with different things related to summer and also personal things that are also related to summer, but not that intrinsically. So I am someone who's been diagnosed with anxiety, and I've never really talked about it online either, but you know, I am familiar with depression, so I am used to having negative negative emotion and feelings, and I have developed coping mechanisms. But there are moments, and it's been quite, I mean, the past maybe 3 or 4 years, the moments where my coping mechanisms really don't work have been summer and the competitive exams. And before that, I did enjoy summer. I didn't think much of it. I was never a big person, a big sun or a big heat person, but I never hated summer. I never felt sad during summer. And I realized maybe 3 years or 4 years ago, a real shift in my personality. I used to be really, kind of low and gloomy whenever the weather would be gloomy as well. And I realized that suddenly I started feeling much better when it was actually kind of gloomy, kind of grey, kind of rainy, and really a bit cold. And that whenever it'd be really sunny and really bright outside, I would feel more anxious, I would feel more uncomfortable, and when it would last for long periods of time, I would end up feeling depressed, very worthless, and I would have those very, very negative and upsetting thoughts just spiraling in my head. And I never really thought much about it because I was like, I don't know, maybe I don't really know what I was thinking. But it's only last year that I realized maybe this is seasonal depression, but instead of having it during winter, which is what most people have, I think I have it during summer. And I definitely think it is the case. I was supposed to go to therapy yesterday. I cancelled because I was too anxious. But I am pretty sure that's it. So basically, I wanted to make this video because I think it's something we don't talk very much about. And for those of you who might have the same condition, or for those of you who might just not really enjoy summer, or who may for some reasons feel more anxious, more stressed or worried during summer, I kind of wanted to talk about it so that we can kind of all relate and just all cheer each other up, because that'd be great to do that. So I've been struggling with the heat. I really struggle with heat. I know that no one likes to be too hot, no one likes to be too warm, no one likes when it's suffocatingly hot, but I really struggle with heat. It makes me extremely irritable, it makes me extremely uneasy, I cannot breathe properly, I cannot work, I cannot function, it feels like my brain is even like just weird. And I'm really sensitive to heat, which means that basically I think everyone feels kind of that way when it's really hot, but my perception of really hot is a lot less than, I mean, for me, some temperatures which would be kind of normal for a lot of people, for me are already too hot. So it is a struggle. It really is a big struggle. I also struggle with sun exposure. I get sunburn really easily. Then I have headaches. Oh yeah, talk about that. The heat gives me even more headaches and even more migraines, which are not the best for your health, be it physical or mental, of course, because it leaves you really restless, it leaves you in pain, and that's just not fun when you have migraines that last for like... Okay, sorry, we're cut. I was just complaining about having migraines for 2 days or 3 days in a row. So, that's it. First of all, the heat. Wonderful. Then light, which I think is very specific to people who suffer from seasonal depression or are sad, or, you know, when you are struggling with light, it's not really just, oh, I don't like summer because it's too hot. I struggle with light on average, which means that I do not like when there's too much light in a room or in an environment. I don't like artificial lights. I really don't like when it's too bright outside. I cannot really explain why, but it really triggers my anxiety. I don't know why. I cannot really find like a logical explanation as to why this would make me feel that way, but it does. It's just, I feel too exposed. I feel like it's too much to take in. It's exhausting. It's painful. It's just not nice at all. And of course, during summer, you have a lot of light from like, I don't know, 6 p.m. to like 6 a.m. sorry, to 10 p.m. And it's honestly, to me, it is exhausting. Like, I feel restless. I feel like the day is never over. It gets extremely depressing because it feels like I'm just fighting the day and just waiting for hours to go by, and the night never feels long enough. The night never feels fresh enough. The night is not even a real moment of rest. It is a moment of rest in a way. It's when I can finally kind of like relax and feel a bit more at ease. But because I've been so exhausted from the day, from struggling with the heat, struggling with the light, struggling with sounds, because of course it is hot, so windows are always open, all neighbors have windows open. I don't know, to me that's just too much. It's just too much. So lately I've been going to bed every night with like sounds in my ears, like a buzzing sound constantly, and it's I can't explain those things really well, but if you felt them, you really, I'm pretty sure, know what I'm talking about. If not, just imagine being always like stimulated by things outside of yourself. That's just exhausting, especially when you're an anxious person, and especially when you're prone to migraines. On top of that, I started this summer realizing that I was very deficient in B12. So this is not veganism's fault. It is entirely my fault. I was not complementing. I was not taking my B12. I was taking it maybe once a month. And if you don't know, I'm 27. Don't want to talk about this because this is highly depressing as well. I can't even tell you how many times I've cried lately thinking of my age, but that's fine. And I became a vegetarian when I was 14. I became vegan when I was 21, and I've never really been supplementing in B12, so no surprise that I'm very deficient. So I started this summer feeling extremely weak, extremely febrile, I don't know how to say, fragile and sensitive and just uneasy. I had migraines, I had sensation, like tingling sensations in my legs and arms all the time. I felt really weak in my, like in the muscles of my legs. Sometimes I would just start crying because I felt so weak and vulnerable. So I'm now complementing very well in B12, in B6, in B9, vitamin C, magnesium. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna take every single thing so that it's, you know, safe. But yeah, those are all things, you know, that just don't make up for a really good state of mind, and that makes you even more vulnerable to seasonal depression. I also struggle with just the feeling of having to live and having to do things and having to be social and having to just have an exciting life, because I just don't. Because I am alone in Paris, I have absolutely nobody to see, because I don't have friends that visit me. I just don't have anyone, and I'm anxious, and I usually struggle to just get out of my house. So during summer it's even more difficult to accept the fact that I struggle with being outside, with going out, and you can't help but feel like that's the time of the year where you should enjoy yourself the most, where you should be out and about, where you should see friends and you should, you know, hang out and just enjoy being on holidays and having a good weather. And I don't. So that makes me feel even more worthless, even more shitty, like I'm just absolutely a pathetic human being. And it is ridiculous in a way, but that puts a lot of pressure on me. On top of that, it does feel bad when you're not really exercising and when you're not outside. When I was in Budapest, I was out all day. I was walking 10, 15, 18 kilometers a day, which, I mean, it's too much, but it was good. It was good to be out, to breathe, to just feel my body working and moving, the fluids moving, everything. I'm someone who really enjoys being outdoor usually, but in Paris I don't. When it's too hot I don't. When it's too bright I don't. So summer basically feels like I'm waiting for life to start again, but at the same time I'm not dead and I'm not sleeping all the time, which are the things I mean, I don't want to be dead, but you know what I mean? If I could skip summer, that would be just really great actually. Another thing that I am actually quite embarrassed to admit, but I am an honest person, so I will. I'm sorry first of all for my neighbors who are always doing construction work or whatever it is that they're doing. I am struggling with my body image and my body as it is. I have gained weight. I have gained quite a little bit of weight the past couple of years. And I don't like it. I'd like to say I don't care. I'd like to say I really don't feel any sort of way about it. I like to say it doesn't matter, it doesn't faze me, but it does annoy me a lot. It makes me feel extremely depressed actually. It even makes me reconsider going back to my hometown, because when I will be back in my hometown, which is in the south of France, we are going to the beach every day and everyone I know is super slim and buying into the societal standards of beauty. So I know I'm gonna feel extremely bad. I can feel already that I'm gonna feel extremely depressed. I have cried several times thinking about it. I have cried several times thinking about all the weight that I've gained, but it's just not really the weight. It's that whenever I think of the weight, I think of why. Because like if I had gained weight because, I don't know, like when you're pregnant and you gain weight, or when you're sick and you gain weight finally, or when you've had an exciting life and maybe you didn't keep up with your exercise routine, I would feel kind of fine about that. But the reasons why I have gained weight, they're not positive. It's because I started living alone and being kind of depressed about it. It's because I had those competitive exams that absolutely put me in a terrible mental state. Never really talked about it before, but I had suicidal thoughts during this competitive exam, so you can imagine. I was extremely stressed. I was very, very depressed. And then my work this past year, which was so exhausting and demanding that I didn't have time to do anything. So I went from being someone that was always out in Paris, someone that would do yoga for 40 minutes to 1 hour every day, someone that would run about 20 or 30 kilometers a week, someone that would eat fruits, someone that would be so good, so hydrated, so vibrant. Honestly, I was happy at that time. I went from that to someone who's never going out, to someone who has no one to see, to someone who struggles with life, to someone who has gained weight, someone who is out of breath, someone who is deficient. And that just sucks. It does suck, because I realize that with the kilos that I have gained, it's also just a lifestyle that doesn't suit me, a mental state that I thought I had finally get myself out of, but actually no. So it's more than just gaining weight. Of course, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the fact that I have gained weight. I don't feel comfortable in the body that I have now, because it's not the body that I was used to having. It's not the body that I was thriving in. It's not the body that I love to nourish. It's not even the body that I had in the sensations. I had a wonderful digestion. I had high levels of energy. Everything was fine. Now I struggle with everything. My digestion is terrible sometimes whenever I eat gluten, basically. So when I don't eat gluten, everything's fine, but I cannot stand gluten anymore. I feel always kind of like unwell, like in a cloud sort of in my brain. I don't know how to explain it. As I said before taking my B12, I was feeling extremely weak. I really struggle with my knees. I had issues with my knees before, but yoga and running and good posture and moving really helped with my issues. And now that I'm sitting on a bus, going to school, standing up all day long, teaching, and then on a bus, And then home, it's terrible for my position, it's terrible for my knees and my hips, and it hurts a lot. So I know this video is absolutely negative, absolutely whiny, absolutely detestable, and I would absolutely understand if you hated watching it and if you felt absolutely no sort of good feelings towards me. And I don't even know what I'd like to say. Is that a kick in the ass for myself to be like, see how you feel, you need to make changes in your life? I don't know. I keep crying all the time, I stay inside all the time, I feel sad and depressed and miserable, and I just feel absolutely not motivated for anything apart from traveling and just being out of here. And I know that people in the comments are gonna be like, maybe you should move out of Paris. I know, maybe I should. I just cannot imagine myself living anywhere else in France. It's just terrible being here, but it's also wonderful being here. I'm just thinking I need to find ways, because I was happy once in Paris. So it's not Paris, it's everything else. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it's not impossible to be happy in this city, in this big city. I was at one point. I think I can be again if I have the discipline, the help to do it. But because I'm alone all the time, because I'm not going to therapy anymore, because I'm struggling with honestly what is depression at the moment and has been for a while, and anxiety, it's really difficult to, even though you have the tools, and I'm sure so many people can relate to that, you know what you're supposed to do, you have the tools, you have the keys, but there's just something preventing you from using them. And it leaves you stuck in this place where you feel absolutely miserable. And that's just not okay. And I'm slowly realizing that I cannot just accept it. And because, you know, it's not the first video that I make which kind of deals with those subjects. I think it's the first video I make where I'm so honest and I really tell you things as they are. But it's not new. Like, I'm sure, I mean, it's not I'm sure, it's I know I've made a few videos that, you know, kind of cover those topics as well, and it's been over a year, and I should realize that it's high time I make the appropriate changes for me to feel better. I cannot just wait, try again the same things and expect a different outcome. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So I am for the first time ever considering going on medication, which, I mean, I think I'm not going to do because I don't want to be on medication, but it's like the fact that I'm even considering it really tells a lot, because it's not something I have ever considered in my life. I'm going to take an appointment, to book an appointment again with a therapist for September. I'm just accepting right now the fact that I just need to go through August, make it through August, and then I will do everything that I can to feel better, to heal myself mentally and physically, and yeah, I'm really hoping that I can feel better, feel the way I felt before. It's just the worst feeling ever when you know how you used to feel, you know what you can do, you know what life can be, yet it seems like you cannot get back to this point. You cannot reach this again. And it's like, why cannot I? Like, what's actually standing in my way? Yes, work. Yes, work, actually. But yeah, anyway, I don't know where I was going with all of that. I just hope that maybe if you're struggling with summer or seasonal depression, this was relatable, this made you feel less lonely. I just hope that if there's someone in your family, as I said, or friends that feel this way, It helps to understand them and be there for them and listen to them. I also hope that maybe you will give me, guys, some of your experiences or stories that will help me figure things out. I hope this is going to be a kick in the ass for me, and that I'm going to be like, shit, I cannot spend another summer like this. I need to plan ahead. Also, one thing is, I didn't really think that I would feel this way again this summer. I don't know why. I just completely forgot about how I felt the last couple of years. And therefore, I packed so many things for this summer. I want to do podcasts, I want to do illustration, I want to read, I want to do videos, I want to prepare all of my classes for school, I want to travel with friends and families. It's just like a lot of things, when actually it's the worst time of the year for me. It's the time where I feel like I cannot do anything, which adds to the feeling of I am so shitty, I am so shitty, I am so worthless. So that's definitely something I'm going to keep in mind next year. I am not going to think, oh wow, 2 months of freedom. No, I'm going to think 2 months of hell. So how am I going to cope with that? So yeah, I really want to thank you for watching and listening to me for I don't know how many minutes of complaining and just being annoying. I hope it doesn't come off as whiny, because it's not what I want. I'm not looking for sympathy. If you have advice, I'm more than happy to have them and take them, but I'm not looking for sympathy, or I'm not looking for people to, you know, feel bad about for me. That's really not it. It wouldn't change anything for me anyway, so there's no point in wanting that. I just wanted to be transparent and honest, and I'm also really hoping, because you guys have been so nice and supportive over the years, and I'm always so wow, you know, you recommend so many good things, and you have had so many things in your life happen as well, like everyone else. And I feel one of the best ways to learn is to listen to other people's life stories. And yeah, I'm hoping that maybe some of you will recommend things that will perhaps help me on my journey. And it is also for me a sort of way to make sure I do book an appointment again with my therapist. It's also something that's gonna be there forever, I mean kind of forever, so that, you know, if in a week, in a month, in 2 months I feel like, oh no, that wasn't too bad, because that's what we always do, I will have this as a proof that, you know what, it was bad, read your journal, watch this video, it was bad. So don't postpone appointments, and making sure you are taking care of yourself, and making the adjustments that need to be done in your life. So yeah, I'm gonna stop here. I hope you are doing amazingly well. I hope you're enjoying your summer. If not, if you're anything like me, summer is almost over, and I'm really sending you all of my thoughts and positive energy, because it feels really difficult to go through this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.